The red doors of Buckingham Palace have been closed many times in its long and storied history. But when the cameras rolled recently on a new message from King Charles III, they opened not just for ceremony, but for signal. This was no ordinary appearance, no random engagement. The king's words, measured and deliberate, came just days after one of the monarchy's most symbolic breaks in recent memory, the quiet, final sidelining of his younger brother, Prince Andrew. Before we dive in, there's something I need to share with you. Over the past few days, thousands have watched these stories unfold, but most haven't subscribed. If you're one of them, I invite you now to join us. Subscribe to Crownverse so you never miss the next chapter in this unfolding royal history. It begins not with scandal, but with silence. For months, Prince Andrew, once the proud bearer of the title Duke of York, once the Queen's rumored favorite, has receded from public view. His exit from royal duties was not swift, but incremental. Step by step, title by title, privilege by privilege. And then came October 2025. With little fanfare, but immense symbolism, the palace confirmed that Prince Andrew would no longer use the title Duke of York. It was a line drawn in the sand, not in ink, not in Parliament, but in royal communication. The change was subtle, yet profound. On the royal family's official website, his profile was quietly rewritten. The title disappeared. The honors vanished. And in their place, a royal silhouette stood stripped of rank, echoing with consequence. This wasn't just a family decision. It was a public signal. King Charles, long burdened with the task of modernizing the monarchy, had acted. There was no press conference, no royal decree with trumpets and guards. Instead, the message came in what was not said, in what was updated, removed, and allowed to fade. And then, as the headlines began to settle and the public absorbed the implications, the king appeared. A video message, polished, framed in the decorum of duty. But its timing? Impossible to ignore. The monarch, speaking to the nation on the eve of Diwali and ahead of an upcoming state visit, released a message of unity, resilience, and hope. It was, on the surface, a celebration of light, of tradition, of community. But to many seasoned watchers of the crown, it was more. This was a king who had just made the hardest call of his reign, drawing the curtain on his brother's remaining role within the institution. And now, with the world watching, he spoke. No mention of Andrew, no trace of turmoil, only continuity, only stability, only the crown. In a monarchy, silence is never accidental, and neither is timing. Observers noted the shift. Prince Andrew, once photographed on royal tours and at state banquets, now exists largely in memory and footnote. His downfall, slow and painful, has stretched across years, from the fallout of the Epstein scandal, to his legal settlement, to his quiet removal from ceremonial military titles, to the loss of his patronages. Yet this latest move felt different. It was not scandal-driven. It was not forced by media outcry. It was strategic. A family decision, yes, but also a structural one. With William rising ever more visibly, with Anne continuing to carry out relentless royal engagements, and with Queen Camilla establishing a steady public presence, the monarchy appears to be tightening its lines, sharpening its image. And Andrew, once a working royal, is no longer part of that vision. Some insiders quietly suggest that this was long overdue, that the king's patience had worn thin. that with public support for Andrew consistently low, there was no longer a place, even ceremonially, for him within the framework of the crown. But in public, the palace keeps its language elegant, controlled, purposeful. When asked for comment, no new statement was issued beyond the subtle website update. It was enough. In its silence, the palace confirmed what the public had suspected. This was final. And so, when King Charles appeared in his message shortly after, speaking of unity, of harmony, of tradition, the contrast was powerful. The institution was not merely surviving this chapter, it was shaping it. No mention of family strife, no nod to internal debate, only royal resolve. To seasoned historians of the monarchy, the gesture was classic Windsor. Controlled messaging, tactical appearances. Let the actions speak and let the people interpret. But for viewers, those who watched Andrew's slow unraveling over the years, this moment felt like a turning point. No longer was the royal family shielding him. No longer was there ambiguity about his future role. And while he still resides in Royal Lodge, with questions lingering about his long-term residence, one thing became clear. Andrew is no longer welcome in the corridors of royal duty. This recalibration isn't isolated. It follows a broader pattern under King Charles, a monarchy with fewer working royals, more visibility for William and Catherine, a tighter narrative around duty and service, and a clear intolerance for reputational risk. In this new era, titles are earned and held accountable. The contrast between the brothers is especially sharp. Prince William undertaking more international visits, shouldering increasing responsibilities, and presenting the image of a future king in waiting. Prince Andrew now receding fully into the background, his name a ghost in royal press briefings. The king's message, delivered with warmth and poise, sought to lift the focus toward community, toward tradition, toward shared values. But its silence on Andrew was deafening. And perhaps that was the point. In the monarchy, few things are as powerful as what is not said. And this week, in the absence of a title and the presence of a king's voice, a new chapter quietly began. Not with a scandal, not with a trial, but with a closing of a door. For viewers of the monarchy, it is a reminder of its dual nature, public and private, emotional and institutional. And for Prince Andrew, it marks the end of his public royal journey. A title once granted in birthright, now relinquished in silence. A family once united in image, now divided by consequence. As the palace continues its work, the crown moves forward, one appearance, one message, one absence at a time. And in that progression, a question lingers. In a monarchy where silence speaks loudest, what will the next message mean? If you enjoyed this journey into the hidden world of the crown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us here on Crownverse, where royal history lives on.